DevKami number 126. Hello, my name is Swimming. Welcome
Hello.
to DevKami 126, and I'm
Hello.
Swimming again. So we have Tristan,
Chilion.
actually
Yep,
on the
Chiliang.
bottom.
I and Tristan hasn't.
No, I
So
have. I
yes,
have.
Chiliang, and
You
I'll
just
be
didn't hear
missing
it.
for 2 weeks. Sorry, folks.
yes. You guys are busy and we didn't pay you for crap. So this is totally a fun thing. This is our
Yeah,
clubhouse.
yeah. It's
And
actually pretty fine. Just that I got too tired,
yeah,
unfortunately.
and this is the only time, and this is the only time where
Restricted. Yeah.
we got live update. When the last hardware one, it doesn't work. I do not know why. I think it's cursed. So that being said, anything you want to share? Well, actually, I try to open up the web page.
We have few people who actually got the notifications. Odin says hi, and Sean is asking where the
Yeah.
piano is. I
John
didn't
also.
bring it behind me, so I am too lazy to bring it out.
Yep. So,
So that's why you see a ceiling right now instead of the piano.
yep. So, for events, let's start with events. First thing on
What?
our
There's not.
events, yeah, there's literally
No,
nothing.
no events. Besides, I think Ruby is gonna be going on, right?
It's next week, but
Yeah.
it's
The week
next
after
week
next week.
Tuesday. Yeah, but it's
Yep.
not the next what do you call this? So next Thursday, then we can announce it. But
Yeah.
it's the
Correct.
first Tuesday of the month,
Yeah.
and the first
Golang.
Tuesday of April is on the 6th of June of April. So
Yep.
Golang is
So
long
yeah.
deal, so I think we should resume it soon.
Yes.
Yeah,
The same
because
reason I should do
everybody is
Python.
busy in this period. There's actually
Correct.
two busy. There's actually two busy period. Uh, like for I mean, generally for Malaysian company is that the before Chinese New Year and before Hari Raya.
Yeah. So let me switch to the tab. Oh no, you see my stuff. So actually today we're going to talk about dev trends, but let's move on a bit. So the first interesting one is BillPlease. BillPlease is actually the Malaysian equivalent of the payment processor called it had a P inside.
PayPal.
No, PayPal
Uh,
alternative. Square. No.
Stripe, no,
Stripe.
the
with
Stripe
a
doesn't
So
P.
start with a P.
it had a P. Yes. Bill, please.
Chiliong loses that charades thing. Was it
Yes.
charades? I don't know. Guessing game.
So Bill, please is actually the Malaysia equivalent of Stripe in a way that they have a same API.
Yeah.
And my Bluetooth connector just ran out of juice. Okay, let me go on first, just in case. So BillPlease is actually had the same API want to do provide service, but it's not the most well supported one in Malaysia, unfortunately. But they got the very same API, which is why I like. So recently they had a postmortem in public, and they actually talk about their incident, their notification, what they learned. Essentially, what happened is they change data type to integer as a result of the database, ignoring the available index law. So yeah,
Yep.
so it's very good, interesting. It's a reminder that you need to be careful when you change your data type
Yeah.
and to actually analyze
Usually,
your.
anything that changes the database is usually a big like thing that you need to
Yeah.
dry run.
Int
Correct.
like int to big in is not it's also not, it's a different type. A lot of
Yes.
assumption is that they are the same, but it's
Yes.
Well,
still a change of the
not
type.
yeah. That's a type you. It's a small thing, right? But also like dropping or adding columns, because you can have like we're talking about indexes. You can have multi-column indexes, and you drop one of the columns that the index happens to be, and for some reason your database does not allows you to drop a column that has an index on it. Then you kill your index, and then it's the same thing that happens, right? So usually
Yes.
anything that has something to do with the database, especially on a very like churning database, like has a lot of transactions on it, needs to be dry run.
correct. So always dry run and always test your code. As I say, test, measure, and all the things. So do not second guess, especially something is very critical, like these guys that
If
actually
you
handle the money and stuff.
if you what we call it if you wonder whether it will affect it, most likely you'll be affected. So
Yep, correct.
yeah, just test your
No, but
hypothesis.
so Sean is saying that do not apply untested changes to production, right? So, but I am guessing what happened here is that, okay, sure, it changed, but because the testing does not have the same amount of traffic as production, because this is a
Yes.
scale issue. Like
Yeah,
you
correct.
can only really experience it once you have a lot of transactions happening, which is why having the dry
Yes.
run, like having like I don't know, like a failover database point here, and then you actually point
Yep.
back, or something like that, or a buffer, and that
Yep.
that shadows
Yeah.
transactions to databases
Depending
with a
also
change or
like
without a change. Depends.
how urgent it is, lah. As
Correct.
probably because they had to upgrade it. You know.
But
I don't
looking
know
at this,
about
it
that.
looks trivial. It looks trivial in a way, so it's something that
Yeah,
easily
it's
get
one
away.
of them.
So, yeah,
Gradually, like because gradually, I mean, just gonna share is like gradually my preferred way is to have it running parallelly. Another one is
Mhm.
to you get a fresh, we have call it live data get replayed to the what you call
Yep.
it, the production until it graduates.
yep,
Yep.
correct.
Then
Usually you'll have like something like that, like a buffer, and it shadows the thing, and you watch the performance of how it was
yeah,
on the new instance, while
yeah.
still
Un-
keeping everything
yeah, unless
happening.
it was previously it was the change was an emergency that they actually almost reached the limit or something.
Correct.
I don't know. Yeah.
So, yep. Let's move on to the next one. Good lesson here. It's actually a very good lesson here.
Yeah.
The next
You
one
want to
is
share? Like
yes. So, Six Store is actually a signature store to actually do cryptographic signing. Crypto here means cryptography, not cryptocurrency, which we ban. So the idea here is to actually have a central store to actually sign your code to knows that the code that you push to your servers belong to you. Your repositories handle that. If you're on Linux repository, you do have something like that, but it's only for the packages, and also often the packages that you submit to Debian and Ubuntu, Fedora, whatever, is not the packager is not the same as the developer. So this one will actually add one more security on top, and etc. So this actually will, hopefully with this will actually make things more secure, lah. I hope. So
But
yes,
how is this different from like the PGP or GPG signing that's happening right now? Like many, like
uh,
especially if you're submitting a Debian package, you have usually most of those packages are actually signed by the private key of the like a known private key of the developer. So it's like on the repository management level, they know like they only accept signed keys, for example, like signed packages.
okay.
Yeah, I'm just not sure how it. Well, maybe because it's centralized, and so all
Yeah.
of the repositories, like it's like a centralized identity of sorts.
PGP
So
is
the repositories don't keep their own
PGP has
copy.
there's a what you call it a change of trust, lah.
Yeah,
Mm,
correct.
So, but gradually gradually it's also open to unless you meet up like last time we actually the back then we have a signing party, right, where
Yeah,
because I
correct.
can only trust you when I see you, so that's when
mm.
I sign your key, lah. So
But
it's still
this one, you signing keys versus signing application are two different things, because this is you actually signing the code. That what a PGP only have the key, only have your key, but they do not know about the code that you sign. Does that make sense?
yeah, and also I think gradually you move also like because of there's more luckily proof of concept, and also but there were some in the wild also like supply chain attacks to
Yeah,
some of the
but the
packages.
supply chains attacks, like for example, if I sign my code all the time with the same key that the repository manager knows about, and then suddenly a new package was uploaded with a different key or was not signed at all,
Yeah.
then that is like suspicious, right? Because I've been
Yeah.
signing my packages, and this seems to be like maybe this is an easier way for people to get into the habit of signing things, because if it's like fast, then that's it, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I don't. So Sean is saying that it's verifying the package to download. I don't know if it's yes, I guess for a certain class of supply chain where you like the DNS, let's say like your DNS was spoofed and then you're actually downloading from the wrong thing. And if the package manager that you're using automatically checks against the signing, then that's great. But I think what's important is to also prevent unsigned packages from getting into the repository itself. Most of the time, the package, like the gems, for example, or Python, I don't know what you call Python packages, the pips. Most of the time, it's optional
They're
to sign.
eggs.
You can
Python
sign it.
eggs.
Yeah, the eggs. Okay, you can sign it, but it's also optional not to.
Correct.
Especially on NPM, like I don't know who signed, like maybe the bigger ones like React or Vue or
Is
these
there
things, but
is there
the smaller ones are
is there a
not.
signature for? I don't think NPM is signed.
I don't know if you can even sign it. Yeah, I
Even
don't know.
the
I
Go
think
one
it
is not
is.
signed because any code repository is a package.
Yeah.
Yep. So also this had the transparency log, which is another thing. But let's see whether this got adopted. I am waiting for this to happen. So let's go to the next one. GitHub found a race condition.
Oh, okay.
This is cool. So the thing is,
TLDR, please.
Thinking I didn't read. So it's a behavior for the Unicorn server where actually we use the session request. So when they reach it, and because the way the thread handling works, I think it's around that, but I can't go into that detail because I think it hold to my head. I still don't understand.
So what's the effect of that? It leaks data, or it mix up the session? Let me check it out. So
yes,
we can go to the next one and then we can go back here.
correct.
While
So
Chicken
Microsoft is
analyzing.
want to buy Discord for 10
for
billion.
10 billion.
Yes. No deal
So
yet,
they're
but
basically buying the user base, not the technology, because
correct.
I guess they already have multiples of them. Skype, Microsoft
The
Teams.
technology is not bad for this.
So yeah, the user base basically, the integrations as well, the partnerships with Twitch, for example, all of these like drops thing.
But the tech isn't really. It's pretty good as well. I say. But there's a parallel within Microsoft. But Discord's engineering is pretty interesting.
Yes. Okay, unfortunately, my Bluetooth earphone died. But I think one thing you need to know about Microsoft is they got a very loyal user base of gamers. So this is the group of people that we use Windows.
Call it loyal though. It's more like there's no choice. There's no other choice.
If you want the best performance, if you want the best performance for games, you see the default is still Windows.
I wouldn't call it loyalty. It's more like hostage.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, you are right in the way that they're better to be able to change the machine and all that. And currently, the Linux support is not quite there yet, but quite a few. You're also right in that because there is more gamer experimenting with Linux as well over Windows, but they have a strong user base, so it's something that they can hatch on top of. So yeah, just a random thought. So the next one is Webview is update web on Webview is crashing Android application.
I'm surprised. I never experienced this. I didn't know until Nicholas in Slack mentioned it, because I just never experienced it.
The reason is because the update is not always run. So in my case, I didn't run the update on that day.
Same. I never.
No, what's the update on
phone.
the Android Webview?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, does that affect me?
Yes.
Yeah, I just don't update my apps until I actually need to update it, because especially Facebook, I have no idea. Like, I really hate when one of the apps will say like information not provided by the developer. I never update those because I have no idea what you're trying to
I just use the app.
Facebook is like one of like all the Facebook apps, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook. They just don't provide any text on what is being updated. It's not even like, oh, thank you for we're fixing bugs or whatever. There's just nothing. So I just never update them, and I guess yeah, that spared me
But
from.
you have to another issue, which is some of the updates might be the updates for the 0 days for the some of the libraries.
I don't know. Well, I would have heard of a 0 day on Facebook if. But I
So
guess
some
if
of the
there's a 0
packages
day,
or
then I
some of
will
the
update it.
dependency they had, like probably like let's say a SSL, a TLS update and those kind of things.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
So
know,
either way, it's fixed since then, so should be fine now. Let's move on to the next one. My Magic is removed because they got a licensing issue. In short, they're distributing GPL code in MIT license.
Yeah. So basically, the My Magic, the one that's the gem that is there, is quite. I wouldn't call it a novice program, but they're not schooled in the legal machinations of licensing. And if you've heard Sean talk about licensing, like it's one of the things that are like very important if you're especially
I
if
think
you're a
we-
developer.
yeah, I think we covered it licensing several times as
Yeah.
well. Right?
So
Yeah.
and so what happened was so he was like doing great work, and apparently he has been using GPL packages like binaries basically for his gem, but he thought, oh, I'm just going to license my thing with MIT, and then the Rails project actually picked it up from 5.2 onwards. And because it's like well known, nobody really looked into the licensing issue. It became a dependency of the Rails project. And so now it came up that uh, the gem has been using GPL binaries while still like trying to license itself as MIT. And the thing about GPL is if it's a main dependency of your project, then your project should be GPL as well. And so it was basically a forced uh, relicensing of the whole thing into GPL. And so what happens is Rails would need to be GPL as well if they are depending on
Yep.
um, on a GPL package, because this is one of their main not a main dependency, but it's a required like library basically. So that's the legal test there. If it's a required thing, then you have to GPL the code.
Yeah. Same goes
So
with
that's the whole thing there.
Same goes with in the Go as well. Some packages, especially from those Linux like Ubuntu, they are GPL licensed, so have to be careful.
Yeah, correct.
But most
So-
of those libraries though are LGPL, so they're okay for linking, and it doesn't
I just
affect-
checked. It was previously like I just checked one that I checked out last time was Juju.
Mhm.
So Juju is written in Go. So like basically Go code is also the library. And previously they actually had what you call it, a waiver for linking in Go, but I just discovered that they relicensed it to AGPL. So now it has to be.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, the good thing about open source is that everyone is quite okay. Well, I would say like tolerant of the whole thing. Like this is an honest mistake. You didn't try to make money out of it, and so most likely there's not a lot of legal challenges here. Like if this was like a licensing issue with proprietary software, most likely there will be like lawsuits left and right. Like, oh, you have had wrong licenses from this point to this point, you have to pay us whatever. So it's most likely that there's not going to be a lot of lawsuits, but there are a lot of repercussions here, especially if your code is using this library. So yeah, be careful and make sure you're auditing the libraries that you're using.
Yeah. Also respect it in a way like we're respecting the license of the library.
Yeah.
Correct. So the last one on our list is OAuth Attack vectors. So this one is there is actually okay. This one is shared by you. I don't know.
I haven't read it. It's just a bookmark.
Oh yeah.
It's something that always been plaguing that. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to read about it. But
Correct. just know that OAuth by default is not secure. So you need to,
JWT, the default JWT implementation.
yeah,
Because the naive, the spec is problematic, and it allows us to specify none as a hashing algorithm. So that,
okay.
and when libraries that implement it, I mean, this is off topic from this lah. So one of the criticism of JWT last time was that lah. When you specify a none, then you just escape the hashing, the signature of the.
Yeah, but this is the same argument with the signing of code packages, right? Like repositories basically allow unsigned packages into their
No,
repositories.
The algorithm, one of the acceptable algorithm is none.
Yeah, that's what I'm
And-
saying. Like, it's
yeah.
basically as if you're not hashing, and so you can't prove that the
Yeah,
payload
you
was
can.
not
No,
tempered.
the problem is not that it's not hash. The problem is it's hash, but if the client if I purposely choose a none, like I just
Yeah.
change the header. Let's say because the signature actually guarantees the integrity of the payload, right?
Yeah, whether it
So,
was tampered with,
yeah.
right?
So
in transit.
if I'm somebody in the middle, I just need to. Yeah, I don't even need to break the private key. I just change the algorithm, hashing algorithm to none, and you pass. Yeah.
Okay,
So that's
that's
So
interesting.
the article I actually read of the first few paragraph is that when I shared it is that OAuth, unlike the hype, is that there are still something that we have to be careful of. Yeah, because there's a lot of hype going around, like, oh, this is like the best thing around. This gonna solve your problem. So it's just
Single
it's just
sign-on.
yeah.
Yes.
There are
sorry.
something that we have to be careful of as well.
Correct. Okay, so back to the trading issue. Yeah, you're right. They log in as another user because the session got mixed up.
It actually happened to Cloudflare before as well.
Yeah.
Caching is in search of performance, right? Caching is one of the most difficult parts.
Yeah.
And this is like one of the classic things. Like you want to reuse something, so basically you cache the thing, but then you don't scope it correctly, and you have a race condition. So
Correct.
it's a problem.
All right. So since we're done, which one you want to go first? Want to go through the developer surveys, or you want to go to the Digital Malaysia blueprint?
We can go with the blueprint first, and then the
Yeah, let's
surveys
go
towards the end.
Yeah. So we talk about the blueprint first anyway. Actually, a lot of them already talked by Sean already.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we
let's
actually
see.
need to share the link of where Sean talk about it.
Oh, I will update it because Sean have it, but I don't want to search it now.
So you can go to devkami.com, one of the podcast archives there.
Yeah.
And we'll link it to the current podcast show notes as well. Well, actually,
Correct.
streaming will.
Yes, I will update it. So a lot of these are hopes. For example, they hope to create 500,000 new jobs. What plan I do not know yet. We hope to have 100% household internet access.
Can you zoom in a bit?
Yes.
Job
And
creation again.
We hope to have
100% household. So okay,
Yes.
so we just rule the rest as sorry, I'm being a bit too overly prematurely cynical. Sorry, go on.
Then 22% of digital economy. This is a hope. I do not know how, but I believe it's achievable in a way that we had a lot of IT companies.
It's a nice thing if it's achieved.
Yes.
But
It's not a
when
bad
is it
thing.
targeted to be achieved? Like, what's the timeline for
2030,
this?
like
2025.
10 years.
2025. Really?
years?
What? That's around like four years.
Yeah.
to
Correct.
achieve it?
Correct. Yes.
Oh, 4 years. In 4 years. Okay.
Yeah.
That's,
Okay. So I don't mind about if they can make it work.
I know Sean is listening. Just correct me if I say something stupid, please.
Yeah. I mean,
You don't need to come
the point
in,
of
just leave a
DevKami is to
comment.
say something stupid.
Yes. And there's also hope to have small event to
I
add
don't
on
know.
e-commerce.
I'm
I
gonna
hope
rant.
this will-
I'm gonna rant is like increase the number of startups to 5,000. Like, I mean, the MSC, the MDic stuff, they don't even help.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Which I said a
Factory
lot of these are
unicorns,
hope.
yeah, we I don't know. So
Unicorns, it
I'll wait.
exists,
I'll
but
wait.
you have to
I'll,
wait.
I'll wait. I'll wait 4 more years before I say you. I told you so. So
Yeah. So the thing is, a lot of these are hope because Malaysia do have unicorns, but they have to
Yeah.
move out
They
to
have
get the
to-
money and all that.
they have to really, I mean, put the foot
Yeah.
down to really make it work. It's not like just grabbing up like nice words from the thin air.
Correct. So digital literacy, I don't know, this whole end-to-end government service. We do have some end-to-end government service.
We
That's how
actually
it
have
goes.
a lot of end-to-end services
Yeah. We just don't have one portal that do
that
everything.
work. That work.
Yes. Because the tax system is awesome, right? The tax system is awesome.
Yeah.
But you can't do your IC online
You,
yet.
yeah, most of the department has at least 1 or 2 portals.
Yeah, correct.
And they do
But
work.
some that works is awesome. Again, your taxes is awesome. The tax system reasonably awesome. But a lot of things they can use. Like I want to do my IC over online. Can't do that yet. Let's see how it goes lah. Then cashless payment. I hope that really happen. But I think we should just stick with ATM, which have Visa and all that. That will cut in the
I think
cost.
just fix the cause. Fix the foundation first lah.
Yeah, correct. And I think that's a point. Actually, that's the whole point for this. All these hope are supposed to fix the small thing, right?
Yeah.
So how to achieve it?
This one you have to zoom in more.
Yeah, correct. A lot of these
Nice.
are just buzzword.
You have to zoom in more.
Okay, I have to zoom in more. Okay.
This is a bit smaller.
While you're
How about
zooming in, Nicholas is saying that it's still so small. You have to. Nicholas is saying that they're asking for front-end programmers. So it's I guess call for jobs.
Oh, okay.
If you're interested in fixing the IC thing, I don't know what the problem is with the IC. Hit him up.
The traditional problem with the Malaysian government is that there's no idea what is a UX. UX means the boss things look nice.
I think the problem is I'm gonna try to be nice because any initiative is good, but the problem is the culture here is there's too much appeal to the authority.
Correct.
Not just government, but a lot of the companies as well.
Yes.
So they only listen to certain group of people that they trust.
Yeah.
So because we were discussing this as well in one of the UX meetups, that like in one of the meetup groups back when meetups were still a thing, and apparently many of the government websites are like that due to laws, like accessibility rules. You have to have this particular thing, and it
doesn't need to be. It doesn't mean that it has to be crappy, right?
Yeah. I mean, the thing about laws rules, right, is if you have too many rules, you just hit the rules and then you don't go beyond them. If there are too many rules, you run the fear of breaking some of them. If you're
I have more insight in that, but I cannot speak it out during the show.
It's actually not really that true in a way that when
it's not because of compliance.
It's not. When I used to work for a government contractor last time, it's not about compliance. A lot of it, as I say, if the boss thinks it looks good, that's it.
I think it's along the line of IT, proficiency.
Correct, and also things
these
like
IT projects are not familiar with building with even the system. Yeah.
And also you can do all the accessibility rules while looking nice. You can do that. Those rules are there, but and you can still make it nice. You can make it usable. It's just that when you do the test, then they had their own idea of how a website should work. Everything just goes to hell, right?
I cannot say they suck in a way, like because I handle a lot of this project is that there are some other non-tech or unrelated issue lah, that
Yeah.
if in order to really we want to fix it, we have to fix the core culture issue.
Correct.
It's not tech related.
Correct.
But so this will also like that for not like for us to be more susceptible. Not me, definitely. They're not gonna listen to me.
Correct. Maybe Nicholas actually.
Yeah,
Because
won a
Nicholas
prize.
actually win the prize. First winner.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
That's a
Yes,
very
we
strange
tried.
prize. Like you get more work as your prize. What is that?
Yeah.
They actually get money. They get money to implement. So it's not free, but it's not totally goes nowhere lah. So the first one is drive information transformation. Manage change. I do not know what that means. Use digital technology. It's called computer and phone.
Yeah.
Digital skill is actually very true.
Digital skill beside turning on and off the computer.
Correct. You essentially you need a bit more than just use a computer. You need to have an idea what you should do.
Yeah. You know, I used to have I'm actually being nasty a bit. Like, you know, last time I was saying that whenever they say there's a system problem, most likely they didn't turn on the power.
Yeah, but that's a bit hard. But okay, I worked in this area very long time ago. All right, so I'm biased. But digital skill is definitely one of those things. At least I had an idea what you can do with the computer, data and all that lah.
I hope this is actually became a sort of a directive that for things to be improved lah.
Correct. So I also hope that the pay scale for IT officers in the government service should be bring up higher so they can get nice better people.
They're actually pretty high.
Really?
Yeah, they are some of them, because the government pay scale doesn't work like the market.
Okay.
So you just need to sit there.
Because I know there is this admin that underpaid that is very good.
Yeah.
And I know some that is not.
You have to go. Yeah, you have to go up the pay scale lah.
And I guess the pay scale has something to do with how long you've been in the service, right?
Also pay grade, you have to be qualified for the pay grade lah.
Correct.
Which is why educational requirements as well.
Yep.
Yes.
Those kind of things.
The civil service is actually very well educated, relatively speaking, as if they go very high in school and all that.
Yeah.
So, it's just that when politician comes in, the default answer for whatever they do is bullshit. Say bullshit again.
There are some really good middle level executive that want to do things.
Yes.
Yeah. I need to give credit to that.
Yeah, as long as the politician will come in and tell them bullshit, that's fine. So digital adoption, I think we had a lot of computers inside. It's the effectiveness. I think it's about effectiveness. I don't know what this means. I mean, is this what Nicholas is doing in the competition? So a lot of these I hope are not necessarily plans, but some are planned. Some is already happening since. I remember some of these are happening since MSC era, like creating digital industry culture. That's what MSC Cyberjaya is
for. It became a real estate drive.
Correct. And
then Magic, I'm gonna not a fan of Magic. It's like Magic is like just taking money and for them to do whatever shit they want instead of benefiting.
Yes.
There are some people who benefited, but I'm in general, it's just that that's my bias.
It's not. I don't see the.
This is a rant episode for me already. Shit.
Correct.
I need to mute myself. I get baited.
Yes. Regulated nature to expand infrastructure. We have that. It's called the Universal Service Provision. This is why you can actually spend. The reason we have that from the MCMC is so that you can build communication towers in the middle of the jungle in Sabah, Sarawak, and other places that don't have it. They have it for years, but I don't know what the hell happened. I'm just saying that. So that happens. A lot of it is from MSC. I'm sorry, a lot of these exist since MSC era, right? Leveraging digitization. We had the whole apps during MSC eras. I should find your apps and share it out. That is awesome.
But isn't that good? Like there's continuity, right?
No, there
They
is.
pick what's good to continue, and then they drop whatever is not working.
Sean may have the story,
Um,
but I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Let Swimming finish first.
So what happened is, this is Mahathir's project. Then he stopped being prime minister. Then the next prime minister forget about it, don't do anything else about it. Which I'm actually happy in a way that don't bother us. But seriously, imagine more money coming in, right? Then coming the next prime minister, also forget about it. They don't really care, and they just shut down the industries. Malaysia just went down from there.
Everybody, the problem with that is that everybody want their own legacy.
Correct.
So they don't feel a ownership of the whatever plan that is this. Let's say if we change the government again, this is not gonna be they like continue.
Yeah, if you have a politics like this, this is why a lot of things doesn't change that much, because you don't have a responsibility for the country. Because it's also the same reason why the United States space program had gone downhill since then, because every single president have their own initiative. So after Kennedy died, then Nixon comes in, they push the special program.
Funding is decreasing every year.
Yeah, they always decrease every year. Amazing they actually send something to Mars at all. But put it this way, after we went to the moon, the next Kennedy died, the next president had to kill off the moon program. Then one president continued a bit, then the next one actually killed it because it's the Democrat program, it's bad for them. They start a special program. Then after that, they push it in. They had planned to go to Mars in the 80s, and nobody go about it because nobody really cares. They just want to bloody see. And this is how politics can mess up. And this is precisely what's happening with Malaysian technology, right? We don't actually have responsibility for country in a way. Everybody wants to have their own legacy. So then,
same with when we build system is that we have to learn to also not just every single time. Let's say we change the project has a multiple programmer over the year. Yeah, it's like instead of maintaining it, people are just scraping it and rerun it, rewrite it, whatever they prefer every single time.
Yeah, correct. So I'm going to just glance through the rest here because a lot of these are from MSc era. Again, MSc era, digitization. That's why you got internet in Malaysia. Digital skill education. This is actually one of the things that is a bit new. They used to have digital Scholar Bistari. I don't know what happened with this, but there has something new on this. I noticed that, remember Citron when we asked Uber, so they actually help the initiative. They actually sell the case and help build the curriculum for school children into digital making. This is actually one of those. Some difference, but we have that since MSc time. Can you imagine we continue from that, right? It looks so good. Then nothing here. Rescaling again keep happening, which is why you have HRDF.
And another reskilling. I have a problem with the reskilling thing because I'm the one that got affected. Like, a lot of reskilling program only. This is gonna be a complaint again.
Yes, do that.
Reskilling program, a lot of them are only available for university graduates.
Yes.
If you just
like
graduated
for people
from
who
university, what are you
for
reskilling?
people who let's say they only had secondary school graduation. Yeah, you're on your own. Come on.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so it's also pretty silly. This is gonna be my rant. It's like we put so much money to train university graduates, and we still can't make them productive. I mean, and then we have to put in more money to come up with something that is exclusive to them. I mean, it's not about that. It's about like try to be more inclusive than exclusive for in terms of everything.
Amen to that. I'm sorry. Gig workers are protected. This, and this should be there because gig workers are often just paid barely above minimum.
Yeah. They don't have the
security.
Yeah, they don't have security.
SOCSO and all that. Inclusivity, nothing much here. I mean,
inclusivity. That is the one. And I'm gonna one thing that irks me is also like like we've seen so many like we have local research program that we receive grant from overseas, but you see a lot of the contests and also a lot of the programs are only for Malaysian. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand is the nationalistic, but whoever that is here, just I mean inclusivity lah. Just let them
Yeah.
let everybody benefit from it lah.
Correct.
Like,
So special target group. I don't know. I think it's yeah. You digital. One of the problems of MSc again is to like people that need special need will actually participate in the workforce. Didn't happen at all. So I hope this time they actually make it happen. Safety and ethics. I
yeah,
don't know
ethics
what.
very important.
Yeah, that's another story. Institutional and commitment for personal data
I would
protection.
love to see this happen.
Yes. If we're going to follow through, it'll be so humiliating. I do not know why this is relevant.
Cross border is
It-
nice because a lot of the issue with why like sometimes we are complaints like why government agencies like don't seem to be able to know when we query something, don't seem to know anything, right? Because they are not sharing data lah. So
Yeah, correct. But it's cross-border, cross-country here, but not internal.
Yeah,
I
does
don't
it
know
mean cross country or cross state?
I don't know.
Yeah. No, a state don't have a big problem.
Cybersecurity
They have
very
problem.
important.
Yep.
Mm,
It's just lucky that we don't have we are not as a big, our businesses are not as big to be targeted yet lah.
Yeah, correct.
But
But we do have
basically it's,
organization for that lah. So I hope they got more funding to help on this part. So this is until 2021. Then this is until 2025.
no, this is until next year. This is phase 1, so 22, then 25. Okay.
Yeah. It's all the way until 2030. I hope they can last 2030 because Malaysian politics tend to forget their predecessors. Let's move on.
John
Go
is
on.
asking about NDSP. What is NDSP? I don't know what NDSP
the
is.
National Digital, I don't remember.
Something
I don't know.
program.
I don't
probably.
remember.
Okay. Well, anyway.
There's a new council, man. Not interested because it's a type of demographic of people that is in the council.
National
That mess
Data
up last
Sharing
time.
Policy.
Yeah.
Data
I
sharing.
don't know. We have to. It's,
Do
it's
you
one
know?
thing that. Yep.
Do you know which consulting firm did this thing?
I don't know. McKinsey? I don't know.
It looks like a consulting
Yes,
firm
it is.
template.
It is guaranteed to be that,
It is,
right?
That's the problem also.
Yeah.
We talk about all nationalistic everything, but we just gladly, put our
Yeah.
money to these people to come
Nah,
and things.
nothing here. So, Southeast Asian this about digital program. We have bloody MSc and you forget about it. I'm so sorry. I'm very angry a bit.
We have actually quite some amount of
Yeah.
probably because of the it's affected by the politics.
Yes. And also one.
It's a good
one
one. I
other-
need to check it out. Like what actually being done in the parliament as well.
Correct. MSc is the reason why we had a good internet, reasonably good internet for a while. Then which is how I actually exposed to computing and internet, which is how I actually learned programming.
Yeah,
and
some
stuff
good
like
and
this right
bad.
now. Huh?
But the problem is that we've been for so many years we've been trying to do the baseline.
Yeah, correct.
That, it's time for us to try to really make it work, not like just good enough.
Yeah. A lot of these are reasons, so I'm going to skip that.
And I'm gonna share something really funny. Is that it's gonna be a run again. You know, at the technology park,
Yep.
Malaysia, like in Bukit Jalil.
Yes, I know that one.
At least until a few years ago, when I was working there, our internet providers were limited to certain providers, basically, and
Yes.
also more funnily is it's only only streamings can be offered to.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a huge irony in there.
Yes. Okay, so this is actually something more substantial. Mampu will take over the government side of this. I don't like the idea of empower local champion. They always do that. It always goes all this.
Who are the local champions?
Essentially, you choose
how
a
is that
company and all that. Yeah. So last time they do that, you got Chari and the first one they got one more that I don't remember the name. It gets silly, so I don't believe in this lah. Broadband to be mandated as basic infrastructure. Yeah, I think we should cover that.
Yeah.
With the Malaysia
I mean-
supposed to cover lah.
I mean,
Go on.
basic, but shouldn't be like force it down people through. Like, when you build houses, you have to be able to, you need to subscribe to that.
Yeah.
These kind of things. Directive that
So-
doesn't give burden to the people.
Correct. So the cashless payment. This is interesting. So you happen to work in, if you happen to work with cashless payment provider in Malaysia, like Boost and all that. If you're in, then congratulations. It'll be very interesting year for you guys.
It's actually I'm working in that sector, and it's actually
Yeah.
pretty interesting because the uptake is real, so it's really a lot of things happening.
Correct. Then
So even some of the small exhibition, everything is that they go cashless as well.
correct. Then data-driven policy. This is something I will push on since Sina time. So I move on. Digital signature is something that your IC can already do, and we forgot about that. Seriously, we literally forgot about that. And the IC can do encryption. They have some PKI on it, and people forget about that. People don't bother to do it. Or rather, I believe that it might be a monopoly of devices to drive up the price that people don't want to do it. So
I think it's the cross-pollination. I think that it should be start with the cross-pollination of digital service amongst departments.
correct. So either way, we IC can do that since MSC time, and we forgot about that. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
It's something that we had since my first IC when I was 12, or it's already a smart card.
Correct. And your passport is already RFID with encryption and all that. Seriously, come on.
And I think what should be like, I remember when I was in Estonia, it was quite cool that they use their IDs for like payments for the bus, for example. Like, no, well, they don't have to pay; they just have to identify that they're an Estonian citizen, and then they get on the bus for free. For us
And
foreigners, we
The
have to pay.
Malaysian IC is actually also a touch and go card. I
Yeah,
actually
correct.
use that as a touch and go card.
Yes. As I said, we have that, but
Yeah,
not
but
used
I
that.
think that's the benefit of an ID system, right? Like identity is centralized, the government knows who
Yeah.
you are, and so
Yes.
whenever you just
it's already
go anywhere.
centralized. Yeah. Our identity, the Malaysian identity is already centralized since the day one
Yeah.
of the formation of country. Initially to
it's
curb the
the
communist.
communist era thing. During the communist.
It's actually funny. It's the most communist thing to do, right? To actually stop communists.
Yes, precisely. Then we have competition. I do not know what this means because this never happened. We have competition commission. I do not know what they do, seriously. Then
And also
real-time
even like the IC can carry your license information. Also, it's not really
Correct.
streamlined yet in Malaysia.
Yes.
It's only recently.
what Estonia did, like as a step beyond, is to have digital signing as part of the card. So it becomes a smart card that you can plug into your computer with a reader, and you have your own personal
Yes.
like your key, and you can actually sign contracts online
Yeah.
using
That's-
your card because it's
That's what we do for all bank and other services.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
And-
reader, right? Wait, for
Yes,
Malaysia,
and
there's a
your card has
reader.
encryption. The Malaysian
Just
might kind of
because that serves as your signature. There's no need for paper documents in that case. You can pay
yes.
your
Yeah,
whatever.
and also
you can
the irony of that is that because of the requirement of the card, we have to be present physically. So the card became the shackle that
Yes.
that stop it from being digitalized, like for totally.
So all Malaysian students will get devices. I do not know how this works, whether you get the devices or you get money to buy devices. So something to think about, digital packages and all that. So I hope, maybe iPad is somewhat reasonable, but I prefer that it's something more flexible, but I don't know. I'm a bit mixed on that. because I'm a PC master race, so I prefer not iPad lah, but I'm insane lah, so put it this way. So a lot of idea to actually teach improve education, a Giga program to equip gig workers with skill. I do not know what this means either, because as of now, all the job in gig work.
My take is try not to burden the teacher.
Yes.
They're already
Correct.
they're already heavy books. We have a ridiculous. The one that I heard from the fellow teachers is that they are burdened with a lot of work. They are like before they start their weekly lessons, they have to write it down and everything.
Correct.
So this is Sean's article.
Yes. So this will be interesting. I might do it. I might be bored enough to do it, to teach digital stuff. Why not? I can teach programming. I think I'm not enough to teach. I may not able to talk about it, but so
one of the things that that mentioned by Sean also, like if you put in a measurement, they can just surround. I mean, I'm gonna just corrupt the words. Sean's word is that they're gonna just deliver whatever that around that target.
Yes, correct. Then let's move on quickly because it's almost 11.
So Sean need to propose your service to the government.
Yes, digital economy. We had a lot. As I said, Malaysia have 90% of internet coverage. A lot actually. We can do more. Of course.
90% for just the peninsula, right?
Yeah. Okay.
90% of the peninsula. I don't know whether mobile coverage is considered.
Yeah, there is mobile coverage, 135% cellular coverage. This is a bit weird, but okay. But then it's 2019. 4G is still reasonably newish.
Yeah, but you don't subscribe a dedicated 4G service, right? It just comes.
Correct. So this is the statistic that shows us. I'm going to move on unless there's something interesting.
Yeah. Did you already mention about Sean commenting on MyCAD not coming preloaded with the digital certificate?
Yeah. That's why Sean need to offer a service to the government.
Well, which is a bit difficult, because now people don't even know what a digital certificate is, and usually when you get your MyCAD, it's the same thing for life, right? Unless you lose it or something.
You actually have to change it when you're supposed to change it every time you move house legally.
I move a lot of times.
They don't catch you for that.
I still vote at my in my hometown.
Yeah. I mean, if you meant to go home, yes. But if you be permanent on that place, you're supposed to change it.
There's no permanent place in a way. Put it.
Yeah, which is why they don't bother to.
That's why my permanent address is always set to the parents' place, because there's no permanent address. All the important mails are sent back home.
Yes. So job description. Actually, part of it is Malaysian cost. Let's not go there. I'm going to move on. Only 44% of small enterprises using cloud. I do not know what this means.
I don't know what it means.
So yeah, because they're mostly 44%. I don't know. History don't care for now. Because I'll be angry if I talk about history lah. 50 ringgit of this, nothing special. This is the thing they already do. Competition tax.
I think we are a really big consumer market.
Yes, actually it's true.
Digital content, yeah.
Correct, it's true. I do not know what this means. This is mostly resetting economy, technology adoption. These hopes lah. A lot of these are hope lah. So we already covered this early just now, so nothing here. Again, my opinion is actually very similar to MSc lah. I'm going to do digitization, and they are not the worst one, because in the 80s when computer are first introduced in the government service, they are the one that bring in around. So, but it's the different people now. That's a problem.
Yeah. A lot of the community folks used to work in Mampu,
Yeah, correct.
but they are no longer in Mampu. That's the point.
Yes, for reasons lah. Actually, it's because the open source thing changed and all that.
One of the a lot of like the early open source folks were from Mampu, not from Mampu,
Yes,
but they work in Mampu.
Yeah, and the reason is because government are not supposed to take a side on commercial service, but open service, open standard is something that government can support. So, and it's a good and it's the right thing because a company can change, but open standard have ways to be.
Government can change, but corporate can be still the same.
Yeah. So
Yeah, take a look at Disney, for example.
Sorry, I'm having fun.
The mouse is still the same.
Yeah. So digital services, this is something that we hope to see in Masina project time. We actually more digitization in the government.
Yeah.
It's not just digitization.
I think also there should be. I think it would be nice if Mampu take up the role to be really like the cross governmental the IT department.
Actually, they are the agency that talk to all the other guys. Actually,
try to have more in-house and stuff as well.
Correct. I hope the digital accelerator in every ministry means something like the US digital service. I doubt it, but if this is what they means, then it's a good idea.
It varies per department, but the maturity is not there, I have to say.
Yeah. And also, it make a lot of people angry knowing the time when we try to do things.
Because a lot of these things is that we often, for this initiative, we often create a new gatekeeper.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. And also the gatekeeper also collect fees, so we have a fee collector issue.
Yes. Yes. So government will start using cloud services. This is awesome in a way that it's in theory it means that we as a taxpayer money will go less to the infrastructure and will be more efficient, but it's a bit more complicated.
I think they should just communicate more with everyone, not just their consultants, not within just the circle.
Because it's known that in the government service there's a lot of services that are underutilized.
You see, the one that really changed my mind was that during some of the events in Sina project, if we do have some government agency people come in to like can you help us and those things, right? So, but just that there's no follow up because also within government is that they get to be reassigned regularly lah.
Correct. Highly skilled ISN, I do not know what this. This is interesting, but not really interesting for us developers. Again, upgrade civil service. Good idea. Not this open data guideline. Yes, I don't like the idea of doing it on my GDX because my GDX is the focus on commercial, so commercialization. But I don't mind if it's available for citizen without any extra cost. That's good lah. I just don't like the idea is under my GDX because
also if it doesn't suck.
Yeah, correct. So that but GDX exists for quite a few years. I do not know what the hell happened to that.
I don't think they dog food it even.
Yeah, correct. They just have it just to look good. As long my thing is as long as the data available without fees, with minimum restriction, that's good. Meaning
it should be nicely documented.
Yeah.
Doesn't require IC to sign up for an account.
Correct. And more important, it will be things like you'll be limited by your ability to process the data, but the data must be available regardless.
There's this what you call it, push and pull dilemma within the government sector, public sector, is that they are really afraid. They would, I mean, these things by the directive they need to do this kind of data sharing or services, but they are also afraid that how people are gonna use it. It's really funny, like.
Correct.
That might look bad on them. I mean, data is
Yeah.
neutral by itself. Like if let's say people can identify the crime rate sense, it doesn't really
Yeah.
look bad on them, like, but the way they see it's gonna be bad. So
Politically, it looked bad in a way that if the police release the data and they
it's
don't do their job,
I
that's a
think
problem.
this is something that I used to say a lot in the Sina days. Also, like
Yeah.
it's a report card. If you do well, everybody can see.
Yeah.
It's also a proof that you did well.
Yes, correct.
It's both ways. It goes both ways.
Correct. There's a unified payments interface. We already have that in a way that the new what's the thing? My pay thing. There's a centralized QR code and all that. It's already there. Do you want to go on, or we want to do part 2, or we just going to go through it at another 15
Yeah,
minutes?
I'm okay. Just skim. Just
Skim through lah, huh?
Yep.
Better government service. They promised this MSC. I hope they really do it this time.
You know, MSC was something that I heard a lot when I was a primary school kid.
Yes, I know. There's this song. Do you remember the song? It's like
Yeah, and there was this. We were promised this future where everybody wear like like a skinny suits, jumpsuits.
Yeah.
And we are on the flying cars.
One of the things they promised
Yeah.
is that they got
And-
remote medicine. We got
and
bitten
also
on
like
spider
year
at home.
2020 was supposed to be like, oh, we're super high tech, like, and, but
Yes.
it's a bummer also, like year 2020.
Yes. They promised
The hills.
remote medicine. If I get bitten by a snake at home, I can call the hospital and they will save me remotely. That didn't happen. I'm bitter.
No, we actually had that. It's called Bomo,
Yeah.
the witch doctor.
Let's
Remote
move
witch
on.
doctor.
I think this one is
Yeah,
nothing here. So use my digital ID. We use my card. I hope that.
I think the government the problem is, right, but the thing with PDPA, right, it
Yeah.
scares the government's departments more than the private sector.
Even though that it won't affect them, PDPA doesn't you can't sue the government.
It actually, they are really afraid of that. But you see, there's sort of leakages of outside, and I mean, I'm more worried about companies handling my data than government, since they have it already. But they are the one that seems to be more afraid
Yes,
of it than anybody else.
I'll have to
even though
go
it's
soon.
because PDPA doesn't
Bye.
fit
Yeah,
them.
by
No problem.
Then we got a digital transaction with digital signature. Yeah, hopefully we have that. Blah, 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 blah. Mass adoption of digital industry. I don't know what this means. Digital compass doesn't mean much. National open data. Yeah, we kind
Also,
of
one
want
thing that
this-
I've been I've actually read through Sean's article is that also that when you set a goalpost, right, they just everybody just kick their ball there.
Yeah, correct.
Like remember the joke of like Soviet Union when the court when they value performance by the number of nails you can produce, and the nail factory is going to produce a lot of unusable small nails.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah,
they change,
correct.
they change the measurement to like how heavy that is, the weight of the nails, that they produce a lot of big nails that are not usable.
Yeah, correct. The more IT system. I hope this doesn't lead to software patents, but they may actually. This may be very.
Some production need to be in, but has to be discussed over with every stakeholders lah. I think this thing is that they have to stop trying to be with the real, like, they have to start talking with everybody lah. The
Correct.
citizen participation instead of consultants participation.
Correct. Nothing here. This is like whole market entry for doing business and all that. Make company registration easy. Competition. Nothing here.
There's a lot of. We're going to talk about it.
Yes.
Not protected. Fit
Yes.
for purpose tax. Yes, tax
This is more interesting to us
laws.
because okay, not this one because this is for telco for internet. every place.
Infra need
I'm
to be
interested in the
citizen,
cloud.
utility,
I'm more
proper
interested.
as a utility. Then like water, you see, the problem is that even our water is not guaranteed.
Yes. See, that's a goalpost problem, lah.
Yeah.
Broadband,
So
man.
utility need to have a certain reliability, lah.
So this one is more interesting for us because I know some of us have to work with the government. So as a result, I know also, in my time there is actually actually have to go to the server and install stuff.
No,
with cloud,
we cannot touch that.
Oh, not anymore,
Unless
right?
you're the service provider, I mean the infra service provider, lah. The rest of the people cannot go there.
Yeah.
I cannot go there. I cannot go there.
I hope that with better cloud technology implementation down here, even though it's a bit skewed, it'll be something that we are more familiar with.
Attract more international submarine cables landing. We also need to start being because we consume a lot of traffic, so it doesn't.
Correct.
It's not good for us, lah. We have to pay for the bandwidth.
Correct. We need to, which is why they actually asked to have more creator. But the thing is, the way they do it is a bit weird, lah. I think for that one.
No thanks to TM Unify.
Yeah.
That we have actually less upload speed, crippled upload speed from them.
Correct. Devices, we already talked about that. Good idea. Devices a bit mixed, but collaboration, private sector, I don't know what this means. I mean, there is digital medical school. I hope this is what I mean, but I think there is the curriculum there already, so that'll be interesting. I think this is useless. My teacher program, unless it's what training, then probably.
I think it should be. I think I don't know. You just force it into the curriculum. I think it should be like just core curriculum first.
Yeah, correct. It's pushing too fast, like Scholar History.
There's a lot of like you're just pushing more work to the teacher.
Correct. Interaction between industry. This is happening since forever. I don't really care. So this one is about collaboration with the board and graduates.
Yeah, graduates.
Yes, I think it's really silly.
It's really silly.
Yes. Entrepreneurship. I'm moving on from here.
Yeah, okay lah. It's a different. I'm not gonna rant about it anymore. It doesn't really affect me.
Senior managers. Well, if the dinosaurs would, don't need to ask us to do computers, that'd be good. But the good thing is I don't have to deal with dinosaurs anymore.
They need to make sure the proficiency should be not just like good enough that after you attended certain amount of courses, you should be good enough. Like they should be, they should really understand, because they're gonna be the trainer. If you have no idea what you're talking about, then
correct. Okay, let's skim through very fast.
We have lecturers in university that they have no idea what they're talking about.
Correct. Upskill, workforce, digital skill. I don't know what this means. Is it student or is it all workers? Something to think about, right?
Yeah, not just really gig worker permanently, like more like upskilling to them. I think it should be for the gig up. It should be merged to the upskilling of people.
Correct.
I mean, of the workforce in general, not just like we don't want to create another caste system for like, oh, you are a graduate, so you're supposed to be allowed. I mean, you're supposed to do this kind of training. Then for the rest, we're gonna put them into a bin for good enough for gig only. Like, no, that's
would be really cool. You know what would be cool with the thing that I'm highlighting? Every time we actually finish a course on online Coursera or whatever, on one of the cheaper one, we're going to get tax deduction. That would be very cool. We should do that.
I mean, HRDF, HRDF is already a bill system.
Yeah. But if you're going to do that for online, for all that, that'll be cool. I'll just give me my tax deduction for...
Not just anything that is... we just accept... I mean, just accredit more providers, trading providers, not just some of the physical one that we have.
Yeah, correct. Move on. I have to go very fast because I got 6 minutes left. ICRA program digital. I wonder what this means. This looks fun. I might actually volunteer if that exists.
Oh, fun fact! I'm gonna rant again. This is a rant that I suppose pretty fresh. Like like some universities, I actually offer to do a free workshop in universities,
Yeah,
but because of my background, I'm not qualified to do it.
yeah, yes.
So yeah, talk about that. Fun fact: free workshops. Free workshops.
This one is scary, but let's move on because security data for vulnerable groups is also a biased database.
Yeah.
So we actually scary. Small merchant. As I
Yep,
said,
good.
this is good if you
This
if
is
you're
good.
in
I
the
mean,
digital payment
training
space.
in a way
It's
is
good.
good lah. Free training
Correct.
for people.
So if you're in digital payment space, it's awesome. Vulnerable group, nothing here. I mean, yeah, but they promise this is forever, but I don't think they know what they're doing.
Everyone just make it everyone don't need to like say you're vulnerable. Like if
Yeah,
if I'm a person that let's say if I'm a disabled person, I'm not. I mean, if I can take care of myself, I'm not a vulnerable person like
yes,
that. But I mean, there should be consideration, but that the planning should be more inclusive lah. Make
yeah,
it more accessible to the vulnerable people lah, also lah. Right.
correct. This one is scary. I will skip that because fake news and all that. I don't like this.
Etiquette. That would be like just like the moral.
Yeah, waste of time. Data protection. I do not know what you can to do. This is a hope lah. This is a hope lah. Encourage company to invest in cybersecurity.
How
Uh,
but how?
Yeah, this is at least give
But
tax
how?
deduction for every time they do a pen test lah. Seriously.
Like a lot of the test, the security test were just running a scanner and comply to
Which
it.
is
Like
why,
you're not supposed to return 404.
yeah, I mean, at minimum, that is like at minimum, right? At minimum, we should do that.
Yeah.
So, but this a lot of these are hope. Nothing here. But I don't. I think we finished lah. I think we finished already lah.
Yeah, finished already lah. It's just I got my share of rent today lah.
Yes.
So I hope I should run less. I should control myself. Sorry.
A lot of these are goals lah.
Yeah, there's a
But
lot of
they
trigger words
clear.
for me because it's sort of awaken some of the ghosts that
Yes.
been asleep.
Yes, but as I say, right, a lot of these are happening since
I think in short, what I want is it's like a citizen participation and also
Yeah.
inclusivity
yes,
for all. So not
Correct.
just like what I'm gonna highlight about like just now the vulnerable group. Yes, they are good. They are good. But make sure. But the one that we miss out is be inclusive and also make
Yeah.
it accessible to everyone. And you solve. You don't actually need to. We don't actually need to partition by the group of people.
Mhm. I will share this. This is already shared. But I will also share. I will also share Sean's article. That is also more. It's a much better opinions than ours. I mean, I like it. It's a good
It's-
thing. It's a good thing for us.
And also,
it's a
it's a more it's an article we can share lah.
Yeah.
Don't share this
So-
video. I just
Correct.
read for me.
So I hope this they will get follow through. I really hope that because of the current political situation, there is some very good thing like cloud adoption, which make it easy for us.
But
to
I hope
do
they
work.
don't actually create another gatekeeper.
Yeah,
What
correct.
I'm afraid every single time this is announced is that they're gonna be a new great gatekeeper.
Yes. MSC was there. Then it turns irrelevant, right? So that's something to think about.
You also
Like,
spend a lot of money with Magic.
Yes, which don't go as much as.
I know
we
some
see
people that
lah.
say they get benefited, but I don't see how it
They
help
do.
out. I mean,
So the thing is, they have the training and all that. But the thing is, in a micro scale, I see some, but on a macro scale, I don't know whether it's worth it. That's my thing, lah.
yeah.
So yes, I think that's about it, lah. Next week, I do not know what's going to happen. It's likely that I might share my experience working.
Let's let's talk about the way that you handle during your new job.
Yeah.
Oh.
So because I discovered serverless, so it will be about like how dinosaurs handle serverless.
So
That's
is that
next
like
week.
it's just like share hosting back in the days of PHP?
Yeah, in
Upload the
short, it's
file
very
and
similar.
yeah, upload the file and run.
Yeah, and it's also had certain interfaces, so it's like CGI. But that's next week. So I think that's all for now. So goodbye. I'm
Thank
going
you.
to end podcast in 4,